I will teach you the right way to live. I will be your guide, and I will take care of you. Psalm 32 verse 8. Baked this for my husband. I baked a chocolate cake for my husband. No, I baked my husband's chocolate cake. I baked sorry. I baked my husband. Hello. 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 Welcome to Live, Love, and Laugh with Tosin. You see, I often think of myself as an excellent cook. But when it came to baking, you will not catch me there. I would always say, let them bake, I will cook. It just seemed like a complicated process. I didn't know how to tune my oven. I didn't have the baking tools. I didn't know where to get the items. There was just so many things I was not clear about, but thanks to the lockdown, I tried my hands on baking and I was like, it's not so complicated after all. I've been able to find some alternatives that makes the baking process very interesting and easy. These days, I find that I'm awake almost every night, baking one thing or another. If I'm not baking carrot cake, I'm baking chocolate cake. I'm baking bread, and my daughter also enjoys the process. She likes to mix the batter, and then she gives me the best compliments when I make any of those goodies. She's like, Mommy, I want more. I'm like, and my entire family also loves it. My mom is always calling, Tosi, please bake me chocolate cake. And I've also baked my husband's birthday cake during this quarantine, baked my friend the birthday cake, and I've shared the recipe with some of my friends, and they all just love it so much. I think that if I can bake, you also can bake. So in this video, we will be baking a chocolate cake together. So let's get right into it. Okay, so let's get right into the ingredients for our chocolate cake. Most of these ingredients are inexpensive and you can find in stores near you. We will be needing baking powder. This I got for 250 naira. We also will be needing baking soda. I have two kinds of baking soda. You can use any kind of baking soda you can find. We would need brown and white sugar. We also would need cocoa powder, which is the main ingredient for making chocolate cake. Go for the best in store. We also would need white vinegar, and I'll tell you why. We would also be needing coffee. You can use either butter or oil, but it has to be melted butter. But I just like to combine my oil together with butter. Any kind of butter or oil will be fine. When they say 1 cup, they are often referring to about 235 ml or 250 ml. But if you can't find this cup, I got you. I find that 1 leveled cup makes half of this disposable cup, which you can easily find. And in this case, we'll be using 3 cups of flour. We would also be needing 1 cup of sugar, white sugar, and 1 cup of brown sugar. Some recipes will say use 3 cups of sugar for 3 cups of flour, but that's kind of a lot for me. We also will be using 1.5 tablespoon of baking soda, 1.5 tablespoon of baking powder, and 1 tablespoon of salt. Let's just get all of that right in. Then we will mix this together to make sure there are no baking soda lumps, and just that the sugar also mixes finely in the flour. Next, we'll be adding 1.5 cup of cocoa powder, and we will mix that all in to ensure that all the dry ingredients are fully combined, and that looks so fine. Now to the wet ingredients. We would need 4 large eggs. We also will be adding milk, 1.5 cup of milk. Most recipes will say use buttermilk, but that's not something you can easily find around here. So you could use any kind of milk. In this case, I'm using Hollandia milk, and I just diluted it in some water. The equivalent of buttermilk is milk with lemon and white vinegar, and in this case I'll be adding my lemon and white vinegar to the mixture. I could have added it to my milk, but I wanted us to do this together. So 1 tablespoon of lemon juice and 1 tablespoon of vinegar. I don't know if you can see, but it's 1 tablespoon of vinegar. And we would also be needing hot coffee. I just used about 1 tablespoon of coffee. You can use more or less depending on your choice, and you don't even have to use it. We would need half cup of butter or oil. Any kind of butter or any kind of oil really does work, and we would mix that in. I also have 1.5 cup of boiling water. That water is actually hot but it may not appear so, but it's hot water, 1.5 cup. So let's mix that, very, very nicely, and make sure that there are no dry lumps beneath the mixing bowl. Please use a bigger mixing bowl. I think my mixing bowl is kind of small, and see how fine that looks. This video is a bit sped up. I didn't mix it as fast as that, but yes, we have our chocolate cake mixture ready. When I started baking during the quarantine, I've been a lockdown. I didn't have any of the baking materials, and I usually used this foil. I'll just fold it into shape for bread or for cake, and it worked. I later found this 400 naira baking pan, and it also worked. And recently I went to Ebano and I found this baking pan. They all do the job. Now let's grease our pan with some butter. You can use oil, and I just want to make sure that my cake will come out nicely and will not stick to the pan. You could also add cocoa powder to the pan or flour, just to make sure that our cake again comes out without sticking. I'm going to be adding half of the mixture into this baking pan and the other half to the other pan, which I have greased off camera. And our chocolate cake is almost ready to go into the oven. But let me show you just how good that looks. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Wow, amazing. Okay, now let's bake our cake. When I got my oven, I realized I didn't know how to light it. So to the left is the oven and the right is the grill. So that is the oven, and this is where you light it. Most of the ovens they use in the tutorials we watch are kind of the more industrial convection ovens that show the temperature. But for regular ovens like ours, you kind of just have to find a temperature that works. Alternatively, you could use an oven thermometer to set your oven to the required temperature. And I'm going to just set my timer to about 55 minutes because that's just a reasonable time that it would take for our cake to be done. Okay, I also make sure that I put my cake mixture high up in the oven. I don't want any burnt sacrifices. Let it bake for 55 to 60 minutes. You can use a skewer to check. If it comes out fine, then your cake is ready. So I will just bring this out of the oven and just look at that. That looks so good. My daughter is like, "Mommy, cut the cake." I'm like, "Wait, let it cool." So I left my cake to cool for about 15-20 minutes before I brought it out, and just look at how good that is. And I just want to reveal the cake. So let's cut a slice so you can see how well we did. Yes, we did it. That is so good, and it tastes even better. I can't wait for you to try this at home and become the real MVP as I have become. This is so easy and it doesn't take so much time to make. Yes, there you have it, our moist homemade chocolate cake. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please don't forget to subscribe. Also, comment down below if you found this recipe useful and if you'll be trying it. Bye bye.